Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. Today is day 5 of week 4. We wrap up the month today. Today is the final day of our 7th month, July. Of course, our main topic for this month was transforming society. Our scripture for today is Nehemiah 5:19, our kickoff scripture, and it'll also be part of what we read. And the scripture said, "Remember me, O my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people." We have focused in the last couple of weeks specifically here on Nehemiah's life, and we're going to finish up today doing so. Our subtopic is Remember Me. Remember me. Picking up where we left off yesterday in the scriptures, going verses 17 down through 19. Scripture says, "Moreover, there were at my table 150 men, Jews and officials, besides those who came to us from the nations that were around us. Now, what was prepared at my expense for each day was 1 ox and 6 choice sheep, and birds, and every 10 days all kinds of wine in abundance. Yet for all this I did not demand the food allowance of the governor, because the service was too heavy on this people. Remember for my good, O my God, all that I have done for this people." Good closure for Nehemiah. Kicking into the text, Tony says we all want to be remembered. And we all want to be just for different things. Nehemiah wanted to be remembered too, but he wasn't worried about having a civic luncheon or getting the Citizen of the Year award. His concern was what God thought of him. Now, Nehemiah was a wealthy man. Anytime you are feeding 150 people on a regular basis, you have some money to buy food. Since he did not take the governor's allowance, as we read in verse 14, Nehemiah was feeding all these people out of his own pocket. There's nothing wrong with being rich as long as you got there the right way. Nehemiah not only got there the right way, he used his wealth to benefit those and benefit his people. He didn't take from the government, then sit back and say, "I got mine, you get yours somewhere else." Don't forget, this is a politician making this prayer in verse 19. If there is any prayer that politicians and you and I need to be able to make today, it is the prayer of Nehemiah's. Why? Because one day your world is going to collapse. I guarantee it. One day things are going to go all wrong. One day things, whether it's financial, health, family problem, when these things hit, you want to be able to pray, "Lord, remember me." Now my question to you is, if you prayed that prayer today, what would God remember you about? Would he look down and say, "I remember you. You were faithful. You used what you had for my glory. You made me a priority. You served my people. You were not selfish. You honored me, and when you blew it, you confessed it. I remembered you." No one wants God to say, "Yes, I remember you. I remember that you never had time for me. I remember that I was last on your priority list. I remember that you gave me the leftovers. I remember that you gave me the leftovers of your time and your energy. I remember that you cut corners in your work. I remember that you gave your family little of your time. Yes, I remember you." When you call on God, how is he going to remember you? In the Think About It section, Tony wrote, whether your thing is business or politics or whatever, the ultimate issue is what God remembers you for. great question for us all to ask. To take time and ask God that. Let God reveal to us what it is that we are doing. Basically, where is our stance with Him? Where is it? Are we in good standing? Are we in poor standing? Is it, look, you're doing these things right, but these things need improvement? That's what's so important about prayer. Prayer is, and we see this, prayer is the time where we can ask God to search us out and bring these impurities up in front of us so that we can correct them. Prayer is power. You and me, we have such an opportunity to get in closer intimacy with God. If we will take time in private to pray to Him and call out to Him. In the reflection, a young violinist was giving a concert one day in front of a large crowd. He ended his concert with a flourish, and all the people stood up and applauded, shouting, "Bravo, bravo, bravo." What a performance. But the young man put his head down. As the people continued to clap, his eyes began to fill with tears. There was no smile on his face. All of a sudden, as the applause began to die, an old man sitting up on the balcony stood up and began to clap. As soon as the violinist saw that, a smile came across his face. He wiped the tears away from his eyes and smiled and held up his violin and walked off stage. A man in the wings said, "How come you were sad when all the people stood up, but when that old man stood up, you became glad again?" "Because the old man was my violin teacher," the young musician said. "And unless he stood up, my concert would have been a failure. Because he is the only one who knows all the nuances of music I played. He knows exactly how each piece is supposed to be played. It does not matter whether the people stand and applaud. I want to know if my teacher is going to stand and applaud." My friend, unless God is standing and applauding, we really haven't done anything. Don't be fooled by people's applause. Make sure that Jesus Christ says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And as a wrap up to that in transforming society, Jesus said there would be those that do many signs, miracles, and wonders, yet would stand before Him and He would say, "I do not know you, depart from me." Intimacy and harmony with God and unity with God are so very important. And I like how particularly these last 2 weeks, how we really honed in on Nehemiah and his prayer to God, and how he treated people right, and how he didn't ask for more. He made use of what God gave him, and he didn't get greedy. He didn't get self-indulgent, but he stayed focused on the task at hand, stayed focused on what it was that God placed in his heart and mind to do, and he went out humbly and accomplished it. I hope you had a good month here on the topic of transforming society. I hope it was very informative, and as I always say, I hope it blessed you. Y'all have a good day. See you later.